Welcome back to America's Commercial Real Estate Show. I am Michael Bull. This segment is brought to you by Arbor Crowd. Visit arborcrowd.com, a great company if you're looking into crowdfunding for commercial real estate. Well, our topic today is social media for business, and we have a treat for you. My next guest is Daniel Burrus. Daniel is founder and CEO of Burrus Research Group. He's authored 7 books, including his most recent book, Anticipatory Organization. This has been a #1 bestseller on Amazon. And get this, he has over 1 million followers on LinkedIn, and he's made some serious bucks on LinkedIn and on other social media sites. And he's joining us on the phone today. Daniel, good to talk to you again.
Hey, great to be with you.
So Daniel, very impressive resume with social media and what you've done. And talk to us a little bit about your LinkedIn following and what you've been doing there.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, since we're commercial real estate and not residential, we're talking people that are investors and probably business people. Right. And you have to keep in mind from a social media standpoint, the biggest social media platform in the world for business is LinkedIn. And most of us underutilize LinkedIn because we still think of it as that's where you go to find work, that's where you go to find a job. But of course, that's what LinkedIn is, but it's more what it was than what it currently is or is about to become. So really, it is amazing what you can do when you add value in LinkedIn. So a number of years ago, I started sharing insights and wisdom on LinkedIn, and I would get people reading those insights and those little pieces of actionable strategies that I was sharing, trying to give them value. So instead of me asking for work, asking for a recommendation, asking for a name, asking for a connection, which a lot of us do on LinkedIn, and try to leverage the network in that way, I was finding ways of really creating actionable insights and strategies. And what happened is more and more people started connecting, and I kept elevating it. And at this point, I think I have 1,060,000 connections on LinkedIn. I think I'm in the top 30 in the world. But more importantly, for well over a decade, I've been being able to bring in at least 6 figures a year in income just off of the LinkedIn connections. So it's really making sure that you don't underutilize LinkedIn. You realize that that is a place where a lot of investors are, and a lot of people that design shopping malls, that are buying restaurants, selling restaurants. In other words, this is where a lot of commercial real estate is happening. The key is to create the conversations for it.
And so you've been real successful to actually make money with LinkedIn. Is that from getting a huge following, getting a great reputation, and then having some actual great products like your books and your company services? Or?
Yes, consulting, speaking, services, but they're all sold softly, meaning if I'm giving you really great value and really actionable insights that can make you a lot of money, at some point you're going to want to find out what else can I do for you. So instead of putting all of those things up front, what I'm really trying to sell, I put up front what I'm really giving you. And again, if you give someone high enough value, they're going to want to find out what else you do.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what's new, Daniel, in social media for business today?
Well, I don't just use LinkedIn. I do have way over 100,000 on Twitter and a big following on Facebook and others. But I think the biggest thing I'd like to share is your super fans. So let's define what a super fan is, because a fan is someone that whether it's on LinkedIn or it's in any other platform, they love what you do, they love what you say, and they share it with all of their network. And of course, if they really love what you do and love what you say, they share most of the things that you share, which increases your network. And the super fans are all those people that, well, in my world, I think of them as having over 100,000 connections. It may, but maybe if you have less than that, you might be thinking 50 or 20,000 connections. You decide what is big for you. But in my case, a super fan would be somebody that has over 100,000 followers of their own, and they are loving what I do, and they share everything I do with their fans, which means everything that I do is multiplied by 100,000 by every one of them. And by the way, some of my super fans have millions of followers in every platform. So the big insight I want to share is you have those. You know who they are? You know how to contact them?
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you done anything? Have you done it? Well, see, I'm giving you a big one right now.
Right.
And are you doing anything special for them? Are you keeping them? Have you realized that you consider them special and important? Have you done something just for them? For example, what I'll do is have a invitation only for only my super fans, or I do a special webinar just for them. It's not closed. It's closed to everybody else. Only because they're a super fan do they get in there. And I do something very special for them. And I do that periodically. Well, what does that do? Gets them excited about being one of my super fans and keeps them going. And by the way, some of their super fans, because they all have their own super fans, then become new super fans of me. So right there, I just gave everybody something I consider to be a really big one. Because you, first of all, you even know who your super fans are. You know, have you been looking at who is retweeting you? And have you ever clicked on them? Those people that you see all the time that are retweeting you or sharing you with in Facebook or even in LinkedIn that are recommending you to others. Because remember, LinkedIn even has likes now. So this is a way to really grow your social media network, make it big and fast and powerful, and increase your influence.
And I guess, Daniel, for those that are maybe getting started or don't have over 1 million connections on LinkedIn, and no matter how many they have, I guess they could still do something special for their connections or for their followers, right? They could give them discounts or maybe, like you mentioned, a webinar or something.
Yeah, here's something that's really important. When I started on LinkedIn, how many connections did I have? 0. And then I had 1. And then I had 10. And then I had a 50. In other words, the journey of 1,000 miles doesn't start with the end. So, like, for example, let's say you're watching TV and you see the comedian Jay Leno, who, of course, hosted The Tonight Show for many years. Now he's got his own show. He didn't start out with his own show. He started out speaking in comedy clubs, making $75 a show. My point is, you got to start. It's a journey. The key, though, is continuing to elevate what you do and treat it with the importance that it should have. Because a lot of us, I think, in commercial real estate, see social media as a hassle. And we think, hey, yeah, we got to do that. All right, I'll get some underling doing it. Or maybe some kid that doesn't know what they're doing it, with no direction from anyone that has experience in commercial real estate. And that is not a way to grow it. What I would say instead is get yourself a kid, because they know social media, but you, with the experience, should be helping to direct and navigate it in a strategic way. And when you talk to somebody like me that has millions of followers, I didn't start out with millions of followers. What I did was I treated it as any business strategy and worked at how to make it better and how to grow it, and more importantly, how to monetize it.
Yeah, and your discussion kind of brings up the fact that it's like multi-level marketing, right? Because
It is.
Yeah, you're sharing with one, and they may share with millions or thousands.
Yeah. The other thing that's powerful here is the word social proof. Social proof. What I mean by that is I can say I'm good, but if you've got people that you know and people that are following you that say I'm good, that actually gives me social proof. So I think in business, we're all really good at saying how we're good at this and that, and here's my credentials, and here's my client list. But better yet than be having the people that are potential customers and potential business connections seeing within their own social communities people talking about how good you are. Well, that's social proof, and there's a way to make that happen.
Yeah. Well, Daniel, with the success you've had with social media and with LinkedIn, it's pretty incredible. So obviously you're an early adopter. You've looked into the future when you started with that one and made and created a presence. So what should we expect moving forward with social media? What's in our future?
Well, one of the things is you've got to remember the key word in social media is not the word media, it's the word social.
Mm-hmm.
So it is interactive. You can't just put things out there. For example, there is a score that you can get free. There's analytic tools that you can use with all the platforms that'll tell you how good you are at people reading your stuff and clicking on your things. But then there's another score that gives you your reaction to them. In other words, are you replying to them when they ask you a question? Are you responding to them? So what I'm getting at is this is not a platform for informing. This is a platform for communication and dialogue. And I think too many of us treat it as a way to inform. So I'll just keep pumping a lot of stuff out there and not pay attention to what people are asking me or not respond because I don't have time for it. And the people that don't have time for it are the people that haven't learned how to make millions of dollars doing it.
Yeah, that's Go ahead.
I mean, really, think about this. We're really good at pushing stuff out there. But social media is about communication. It's not about informing. So here's another insight I'm giving you. There's a big difference between informing and communicating. Informing is one way. It's static and doesn't cause action. How do you know anybody read it? How do you know they liked it? How do you know they took action on it? How do they know they even are going to do something? Communication is two-way and dynamic. And the beautiful part of all social media is that it's designed to be communicative and dynamic in two ways. So I'm going to make a statement right now. I don't know this is a fact, but I'll bet it's true. And that is the vast majority of people listening to this program are using it as an information tool, not as a communication tool. And I'm telling you right now, okay, well, that's why you're not getting anywhere with it. That's why you're not making money with it. That's why you're putting it as, well, something I have to do.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think I put out a lot of information and I also receive a lot of information. And it does seem, Daniel, like the communication part does take a lot of time. So what are some tips there?
Well, one of the tips there is that at first you need to start looking at it a little bit longer, devote some time to it. But again, the time is not just pushing out time. You got to have some reading time. And what I do, I'll just tell you what I do is I've got somebody on my staff that will read through all of the comments that are coming in, send the ones to me that need a response, and then I send the response out. That way, I'm not having to spend the time reading everything. I am responding to all the things that need a response. And by the way, there are quite a few, but that saves me a lot of time because now I'm not going through all the platforms. I've got a lower level person that is not being paid what I'm being paid to do that. Mm-hmm. So if social media is important for you, hire a young person that's maybe a fresh graduate that is looking to make their mark in social media and who understands social media, and get them working for you on managing your social media. And again, I take an active role, but I don't have to do everything, or I wouldn't have time to do all the other things I need to do. Because I'm giving speeches, and I'm writing books, and I'm writing articles, and I'm also doing consulting, helping companies rapidly grow their businesses. And let's face it, I do want to spend time on social, though, but not just pumping it out. I need to divide it so that I'm also bringing it in. So I'm suggesting you invest a little money, because to lay $1 down and pick 10 up isn't a bad investment. So why don't you put $1 down so you can start picking 10 back up again every time you do it, and get somebody helping you.
That's a good point.
Maybe they're part-time.
That's a good point.
Maybe they're part-time.
That's a good point. Yeah. And you put it in a great perspective there, because you think of media was the old days in the 1960s when you pushed out ads and you pushed out TV, you pushed out radio. But when you put it in perspective there, you add the social. This is interactive, and those are some great tips, Daniel. And you talk about how you add value for your connections, your viewers, your listeners, or something. Is there something you could do for our audience to give to them, Daniel? Can you give them something?
Yeah. Well, let me give you another really great tip. That because we've got a little bit of time, let me give you another one that's really important for you, and that is, think about, what do the people that are following you want and expect from you? In other words, think of it as your people or your tribe that you've created. It's a social tribe. And of course, we're talking business here, but still, they're a tribe of people. What do they want from you? So I know that the people that follow me, and you can go to Daniel Burrus to find me on any of the social platforms, they are expecting examples of either game-changing technologies that they can use in their businesses that are game-changing, and because I post those, as well as they're expecting from me strategies and insights they can use to accelerate their innovation or the growth of their company. And I don't do anything else. So there are other things that I could do. I could tell them I'm on vacation, I'm at a restaurant, I'm doing this or that. I don't do any of that stuff. I stay very focused, giving them what I think they want from me. So what I'm getting at is, be focused in what you're doing, develop a focus, and be laser-like with that focus. That is important. And by the way, of course, there are tools that allow you to cross-pollinate all of the sites with a post. So you can do a post and have it immediately go to maybe 10 or 15 different social platforms all at the same time, instead of having to do each one by itself. There are many tips. I mean, we could turn this into a long show, obviously, but don't forget the power of photographs. Every post, everything should have some kind of picture in it, because if it's just text, people skip over it nowadays. And if you can put a little video in it, better yet, because video wins over pictures, and pictures wins over text. So whenever you can put a short, and not long, very short focused video, better yet.
Yeah, very good point. Well, Daniel, can you give a gift to our audience before you have to go?
Well, thank you. I surely will. My new book, The Anticipatory Organization, is teaching people how to anticipate problems before you have them so you can pre-solve them, how to anticipate disruptions before they disrupt so you have a choice of being the disruptor. In other words, how to turn change into opportunity. I'm going to give all of you a free, get this, not an ebook, a hardcover copy of my book, free.
Nice.
It will cost you a few bucks in shipping. And I'm not making money in the shipping. I'm just getting it to you that way. And it'll get to you FedEx within a few days. All you have to do is go to the website. The book is called The Anticipatory Organization. So to make it short, it's the THEAO book.com. The AO book, THEAOBOOK.com. And you can get a free copy of the book. So now you don't even have to go to Amazon and buy it. You can just do that and get one sent right to you.
That's awesome, Daniel. And so we can go to that site. We don't need any kind of discount code.
No, nobody knows that site except the one I just gave you. So you can do it. You don't need any codes or anything else. And, of course, you can go to my website, Burrus, BURRUS.com. I've got a blog with a couple of million monthly readers. I think you might like that as well.
That's perfect. Daniel Burrus, sir, thank you for joining us. Great information.
You got it. My pleasure.
All right, and thank you for joining us out there across the country or all over the world, wherever you're watching or listening. We appreciate you being with us. And hey, it's a social media show. Be sure and connect with us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere that we are. We'd like to hear from you and interact with you. And we'll have a great show next week. Don't miss it. Until then, be sure you always lead, learn, and laugh. And join us for America's Commercial Real Estate Show.